Have you ever had a thought come out of nowhere, say howdy, and then sit down beside you? I had one of those things a couple years ago when things started slowing down at work. You see, I worked for a backyard home improvement company, and I'd been there for about 10 years at that point. We built fences, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, fun stuff like that. And for years we were just busy, busy, busy. The phone was ringing, projects going up everywhere. And then come COVID, and things took a little bit of a change. The phone wasn't ringing as much. Projects weren't coming quite as often, and it was starting to make me nervous. Now I know business has ups and downs, and I've been through them before. So I waited. And 3 months turned into 6 months to a year to 18 months to 2 years, and I was getting really worried now. And that thought was still sitting there on the bench beside me, asking, hey buddy, what if time ain't on your side anymore? Now I said, no, I'm not worried about work. I've worked my entire life. Work is not the problem. But he may be right. Maybe it is time. You know, 45 blew right by, 55 blew by, and here I sit today, no closer to retirement, and in fact, in some ways it looks even further away. Maybe you've had that feeling too. You do the math in your head, then you look at your savings and your bills. Well, that's when I knew I needed some answers. Not next year, not someday, not next month. I needed to find them now. Oh, one quick thing. If you're a visual person like me and you'd rather look and read than listen to me talk, there's a little link down in the description you can click, and you can read, watch. You can even listen along if you want to. And honestly, that's what I did. Anyway, at this point, I knew I couldn't keep guessing. And the unfunny part was, life had gotten my attention like this before. Back in 2008, I was working for a home mortgage company here in the local area. I mean, things were going great, we were busy, and then the mortgage crisis happened. Same thing. Phones stopped ringing, realtors quit selling houses. The whole thing seemed to come apart overnight. So there I was, out of work, 54 years old. And when nobody really likes being told they're not needed anymore, when you get over 50, it changes the game a little bit. But it did teach me one lesson. Having all your eggs in one basket's okay until that basket gets kicked over. So there I was, 54 going on 55, back on the job market again, and honestly a little bit frustrated. And that's when I started looking for other ways to make money other than just a regular 9-to-5 job. So while I was looking for a 9-to-5, I looked at the other stuff, MLM, blogging, all this online stuff, probably a million things I've even forgotten about. And I even tried a few of them. And all it did was cost me money and cost me time and take me nowhere at all. So back to the 9-to-5 grind I went. You know, but good fortune smiled again, and I found the job I have right now. Things rolled along for years, and years went by, and year went by, and years went by, and I quit looking for anything else. I was just having a good time. I was paying the bills, and life was good. And then here we sit now, me and the thought, looking at the same thing, the same cycle, starting over a decade later. That's what made me start looking again. Not for a miracle, not for easy, not for a Lamborghini. Hell, at my age now, I'd probably pull a hamstring trying to get in and out of one of those little flat things. I needed a backup plan, something that would allow a little extra money to be there at the end of every month, something I could start salting away because I wasn't getting any younger. So I started my research quest, and when I mean research, it became my second job. And just like every good researcher, I went to YouTube because that's where serious research is done in the 2020s. Video after video, I mean forever. Guru after guru. Everybody had the answer. But the truth is, the more I watched, the more I got confused about what I wanted or what I should do. It was bad. Then one night, I came across a lady from Canada named Wendy. And believe me, my skeptic monitor was turned all the way up and my BS radar on high beam. But something about her story just caught my eye. It wasn't the money, because everybody talked about that and I'd seen that a million times. It's that her story kind of aligned with mine. She'd worked hard, and she wasn't set up for her retirement the way she wanted to either. She'd tried lots of online businesses, And that's what kept me watching and listening to Wendy. At the end of her message, she suggested that I go look at something called the Blueprint, that there'd be a link for it down in the description, and it would answer literally every question that I had about what she was doing at the time. Now remember, at this point, I'm looking for reasons to run, not reasons to buy, because I've dang sure spent and wasted enough money on shiny objects. So I opened the Blueprint. It held a couple of videos and then a long website that went into great detail what she'd been explaining on YouTube about training, a business model, community, and in fact, at this point, it started making sense. You know, honestly, surprised may be a better word, because remember, I went in looking for a reason to run and walk away, but instead, I felt like I was leaning in. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for you that Wendy did for me. I put that same link she shared with me in the description box below. You can go look at it and see for yourself. Don't take my word for it. One thing that really surprised me was the size of the community she was part of. I'm talking tens of thousands of people across the globe sharing wins, big and small, lessons, big and small. I'm talking a real community. And I mean, it was everybody. It was beginners, it was young people, it was people my age, your age. In fact, it was all ages. And they were all learning together, they were all doing stuff together. It was real folks. They were a community of people just like me. And that's when the realization hit me. Maybe I'd been looking for an opportunity all this time when that really wasn't what I'm looking for. Maybe I was really looking for the right vehicle. And maybe, just maybe, I'd found it here. Now, if you're anything like me, you realize the biggest challenge isn't finding information. The fact is there's too much information. The hard part is finding what deserves my time. And that's what this entire video is about, time. Because eventually, we all have to have that conversation with ourselves. For you, it may be that next birthday. For me, it was a slowdown at work. For someone else, it may be that next bill they open that they don't want to pay. But eventually, we all have to admit it wasn't ability, but somehow we're running out of runway. Sometimes you got to change directions, and sometimes you got to learn something new. So where does that leave me today? I'm still learning, I'm still building, I'm still documenting the journey because I'm still trying to build the next chapter. That's why I started this channel. Now, if you'd like to see exactly what Wendy showed me that made me make the decision I did, go click on the Blueprint link in the description below. Go look yourself, go through it piece by piece just like I did, take notes, and let me know what you think. Oh, one last question. When did the thought come sit beside you and say, hey, do you know you're running out of time?